Good morning. It's been a long time. Feels really good to be back up on stage at Breakpoint. You know, we've all had to endure a lot over the last year, and yet we persevered. And look where we are today. I've got a little story I want to share with you all. It's a scene from a movie called Pool Hall Junkies with Christopher Walken, and he's giving this motivational speech about a lion. And he says, you got this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out to here. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big and so hot, he doesn't want to move. Now the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. They're biting his tail, they're biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him, coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now the other animals, they notice this. They start to move in. The jackals, the hyenas, barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes, and they eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get bolder and bolder and closer until one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everyone, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is. This next year, this is our year. And I'm here today to talk about all of the stuff that we've been building on Solana, or at Star Atlas, that's only possible on Solana. Let's get started.
Space. We dream of transcendence. We dream of what we might become. Rendering is a cosmos in which we can explore, in which we have agency. We finally get to go intergalactic.
All right, so what am I covering today? Well, I'm going to be going through several of our implementations, our Unreal Engine MMO, our web client, our build program, and our mobile application. Now, as I go through these, there's a theme that I want to instill upon you all. Star Atlas these are not siloed product verticals. Star Atlas is a singular universe, just with different ways to experience it. And that's because we're building our game logic on Solana. So for those of you that are not as familiar, Star Atlas has been building and releasing product iteratively over the last 3 years. Our currently available release is R 2.1, and you can download that on Epic Games Store. Now the features included are single-player time trials, single-player ground hover racing, both of these with leaderboards. We have a flight trainer, we have a dogfighting arena, and then several experimental maps and game modes. What I do want to highlight here are some of the blockchain integrations that are already available. So in 2022, we developed and released open source the Foundation SDK. This is a native Solana integration into Unreal Engine. And using that technology, we built the world's first Solana wallet in Unreal Engine. This year, we've added support for our marketplace. So users in Engine are able to trade peer-to-peer, use the same order books and same liquidity as our web market. And of course, all of the assets that you hold in your wallet, those are already playable in Engine. But today, we're going to be talking about our next big release, Unreal Release 2.2. So the big feature release of 2.2 is a competitive combat ground racing course. You can think of this as kind of pod racing or next generation Mario Kart. It's kind of, you can switch between your tractor beam and weapons. You can pick up ammo, health, and shields. But what I especially want to highlight here, again, are some of the blockchain features that we're adding to this release. With 2.2, you're going to have access to ship configuration on-chain, ship mastery on-chain, and character progression, or XP systems, fully on-chain. Let's take a look at what's coming in this release.
When I'm in that spaceship, I'm anxious. Who gon' have my back when I'm facing off with aliens? Let's put our differences to the side for this occasion. We are not the same, but it's the same brand we chasing. Same motivation. Mob deep, got our coins up. We the new shit if they ain't gang, tell them shut up. It could be the universe against us. We ain't taking no L's, all we take is more dust. We're a million miles away. Can we make this right today? This is what we need. Bad news every time one of us leaves. We're a million miles away. Can we make this right today? I feel so alive, alive all the time, and I don't mind. Oh, I feel so alive, alive all the time, and I don't mind.
Rendering is a cosmos in which we can explore, in which we have agency. We finally get to go intergalactic.
Let's go. So as you can tell, this is going to open up virtually limitless possibilities in character customization, but what's not obvious, and particularly because of the blockchain integration, is this creates massive opportunity for creators to customize, mint, and sell their own skins. What I also didn't mention is that we're adding full multiplayer support with the R2.2 release. Now, so multiplayer, a key element of every MMO is the social dynamic. It's by definition, they're massive and they're multiplayer. In our case, you might actually call it supermassive. And there's perhaps no better person to discuss mass scale simulation and first order problem solving than the guest who's about to join me on stage. He's the ex-founder of AdBrain, a machine learning company that was acquired by The Trade Desk. Ex-founder, CEO, and CTO of Hadean. He's a PhD in complex systems and chaos. He's also quite dapper. And most recently, the co-founder and CEO of Metagravity. I'd like to invite to the stage Rashid Mansour.
It's really good to be here. Thanks for the intro, Mike. And it's great to be working with the Star Atlas team. What we've been working on has profound implications for, I think, the current vision and aspirations around the landscape of technology. And Star Atlas is certainly at the forefront of testing these problems and pushing these boundaries. A lot of what you've seen today, earlier, and what you're about to see, this is very hot off the presses, warts and all. So really we're in live real-time development, pushing the vision for the metaverse forward in terms of technology infrastructure. What's not known to many people outside of the industry where multiplayer games are built is that it's actually not easy to put a large number of players into a virtual world, especially when you have gameplay, when you have collisions, when you have interactions, when you have physics. It's easy to render a large number of players in a scene. It's not easy to create a causally consistent or self-consistent simulation where events have causality chains and where events matter and impact the world. Today in games, typically the top end of that number is around 100 players. But if we're going to achieve persistent virtual worlds, MMOs, the metaverse, the 3D spatial internet 2.0 of our dreams, we have to radically rethink architectures in the infrastructure fabric. So games like Fortnite, Roblox, World of Warcraft, there's a reason that these games limit the number of players in an instance. These are fundamental technology limitations. What we're working on is pushing those boundaries significantly further forward. And this isn't a new challenge. There has been talk about doing this sort of thing for about 2 decades. I've personally been preoccupied with this problem for about just as long. Previously, I founded a company where we set records for the largest number of concurrent players in any game session, and that was at GDC in 2019. But even that pales in comparison to where we need to get to in terms of scale. So the attempts currently used in the industry, both by me in the past and other companies, is called spatial partitioning. It appeals to the intuition, at least initially, in a naive way. Surely we can break up a world into smaller chunks, do local simulations on each of these chunks on separate servers, synchronize at the boundaries, and create this self-consistent reality. While intuitive initially, it introduces certain unsolvable mathematical constraints when you try and scale a world this way. And I spent a very long time trying to figure out how do we overcome these constraints, and then ultimately realizing it's really not possible to overcome these constraints because they're not just engineering limitations, they're mathematical limitations. Truly, in order to make boundless virtual worlds possible, we had to go back to first principles and rethink how we parallelize virtual worlds. Very simply visualized, the way that Metagravity's approach works and differs from others is what we call causal partitioning rather than spatial partitioning. We construct a very abstract mathematical space in which things are partitioned on the basis of their simulation relevance and relatedness. As it turns out, when you do this, one of the interesting properties of this kind of model is that you completely sidestep and eliminate many of the limiting factors in spatial partitioning. And then you sort of see endless horizons of scale ahead of you. Some other side effects are that it becomes possible to port existing games onto the technology, with effort, of course, but it is feasible to do so. Whereas in the spatial case, you have to rebuild the game from scratch to work on the spatial model. And that is a huge advantage. And that's what we've been doing with the Star Atlas team over the last 5 to 6 months. The game that they have made so much progress on and are continuing to live in real time, our team has been working alongside them to build multiplayer functionality, to support things like avatars, combat, racing, etc., in a shared world that is instanceless, that can eventually support tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of players. The current milestone that we wanted to present today is around the 30,000 case stress test that we did. First, and then flip to Star Atlas.
greatest intersection of these spaces of outward expansion and inward expansion is embodied by Star Atlas. Star Atlas is a new metaverse. It's going to open up the final frontier, the intergalactic frontier.
Just to wrap up, so that was hot off the presses, and you're going to continue to see more and more high-fidelity gameplay as we build with the Star Atlas team all the way up to the launch of their platform and the technology. Thank you very much. If you'd like to learn more, please do get in touch, and I'll hand over to Mike. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Thank you, Raj. All right, so we've had an opportunity to look at the beautiful cinematic world of our MMO. Let's take a look under the hood at our web client and also the test bed for a lot of our on-chain gaming logic. So Sage, or Star Atlas Golden Era, is a browser-based real-time strategy game. When I say RTS, I do mean reading and writing to Solana in real time. It focuses on territory conquest and control, logistics and supply chain management, resource extraction and crafting, and a persistent PvP arena coming in the future. 100% of the game logic is on Solana. So back in April of this year, we released a little test environment called Escape Velocity on mainnet. This was very simple. It was fully on-chain, movement, and coordinate system. And then in September of this year, we rolled out the next iteration of Sage, Sage Labs. We dramatically increased the feature set, and this 2D RTS expands on the resource extraction, logistics, and crafting loops. So, what's really impressive about Sage Labs? Well, we deployed 7 different programs on-chain that control things like account creation, user profile system, your XP, LP, and character progression, a fleet management program, coordinates and movement, localized inventory management, which is actually location-based, extraction systems, crafting systems, and we're working on combat systems now. The result of all of that, this data is actually a little bit outdated just in the last week, but we've done over 30 million transactions on Solana since September. We're doing about 2 million transactions per day, making up between 10 and 15% of the total Solana network transaction volume on any given day. We've acquired 2,000 daily active users, and 10,000 unique wallets have connected to the platform to date. So let's take a little look at what we have. Oh, sorry. But the future of Sage is 3D. We're calling that release Star-based. It's built in Play Canvas. It uses WebGL assets. And in fact, all of the same assets that you use in Unreal Engine are playable in Sage. So now we can take a look at what we have in store for you. Again, every single action you saw in that demo is executed on Solana. And if you just showed up, some people from the audience will have to catch you up on what you missed. But let's talk a little bit about collaboration. So as I mentioned, MMOs rely heavily on this social element, and no MMO is complete without a guild system. I see a few guilds out there in the audience right now. So in the very near future, we're going to be releasing our DAC platform. This is Decentralized Autonomous Corporations, the guilds of Star Atlas. Once again, this is a fully on-chain guild registration system that provides access to naming, your profile system, setting guilds' interests and objectives, recruiting platform, and it also allows for member management, role setting, and permission setting. We've got a little demo here to show you that as well. I know a few people that are very excited about that. So why are we going through all of this effort, though, of pioneering on-chain architecture for gaming? Arguably a terrible strategy. It's challenging, it's risky, there's no playbook for us to follow. But in a single word, composability. You see, we believe in the potential of co-creation of the vision of Star Atlas. We want people to build alongside us. In fact, we see massive potential in the empowerment of people, empowerment of developers all over the world. In so many ways, our approach is very similar to that of a layer one. We build programs and primitives, we provide those tools to developers, and allow them to co-create this universe. There's two components to our build program. The first component is our open access IP policy. And we launched this in April of this year, and it's a repository with branding, with logos, with canon, with ship assets, and other art assets. And entrepreneurs are able to build businesses using our IP, commercialize those businesses, and generate revenue up to $1 million without a single cent in royalties to us. Now, beyond that first $1 million, they'll pay between 3% and 10%. Based on the industry that they're operating in. And I've listed just a few of the partners here, but we've had over 66 applications and approved partners just since April. I did want to highlight just a few of these because we've got some really cool stuff going on. Gallia ArtStation makes 3D printed models of our ships. Gallia Merchants, they produce apparel, swag, and other computer peripherals. And Darkcore Roasters, a Star Atlas themed coffee brand. This next part isn't actually a part of our build program, but Atlas Grace is a true testament to the Star Atlas community. I felt it really deserved a call out here. So Archetype, the founder of Atlas Grace, he uses the pub key atlasgrace.soul, uses earnings from his game assets to donate to charities all over the world. And this is what building a new economy is really all about. It's an incredible charitable initiative. Round of applause for. All right, and the second component of the build program targets developers. You guys remember the Microsoft thing? Developers, 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 developers. We're all about it. And so in October, we rolled out 13 new programs in the build program. That includes mainnet program IDs, program IDLs, TypeScript bindings, APIs and data access, and various forms of documentation. And just since October 3rd, we've already seen 16,000 downloads of our various programs. These are the people that are creating the extensions, mods, expansions of Star Atlas. Our motto has always been building on Star Atlas is building on Solana. So if you're a developer out there and you're looking for an opportunity to build in the Solana ecosystem, I encourage you to explore Star Atlas. These are just a few highlights from the current participants. Many of these are guilds, the DAX. They're producing things like data dashboards, fleet optimization tools, complete alternative front ends, and other forms of automation tools. And then I wanted to highlight a few of our partners. Of course, BuddyLink was just on stage with our Web3 affiliate system integrated with StarPath, NeoSwap for asset bundles, and Hedgehog Markets. These guys were great to work with. We built out a fully on-chain raffle system. That's part of the golden tickets and Sage Labs. But we want the Star Atlas economy and content to be available to as many people around the world as possible. So for that reason, we broke ground on our mobile companion app last year. As you prepare yourself for combat racing in the showroom, you're going to want to get your racer in shape. So Star Atlas Crew is a fitness trainer and a little variation of the move to earn genre. You can walk, run, cycle, level up your crew members, and collect loot along the way. Got another small demo here to show you. So up to this point, individual crew hasn't been available in Star Atlas, but alongside the release of the mobile companion app, crew recruitment is coming soon. So individual crew members with procedurally generated traits and even unique backstories. So today, I'm very excited to announce the up-and-coming recruitment packs. These come in sets of 5 with rarities, traits, and characteristics. And beyond crew members, these are also going to serve as your Star Atlas PFP. So keep an eye out for these. They're coming Q1 of next year. We're going to take another closer look at the crew packs.
I feel so alive, alive all the time. And I don't mind. Oh, I feel so alive, alive all the time. And I don't mind.
Don't worry for you guys that already have ships with crew members on them. You'll be getting some crew packs as well. So I just wanted to pull all of this together. I noted at the beginning of the presentation that we aren't building siloed product verticals, but an interconnected and interwoven universe. Imagine yourself using the mobile app to level up your crew, slotting those crew members via ship configuration in Sage Labs or an Unreal Engine, producing resources through Sage Labs, and then consuming those resources as you race competitively in combat racing. We're building a new economy a digital nation state, powered by the people. And all of this is only possible because of our game logic on Solana with composability and a shared network state. Looking forward to the future. Thank you, everyone.